Welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's finish the poem that's made by the traveling sun. 谁言寸草心，报得三春晖. It's not that common that Chinese poems have three stanzas. Mostly it's just two stanzas made of four lines. But this one, it's six lines made of three segments. The first segment, we talk about the main characters, the mother and the son, and their props. Mother holding a thread, and the son supposed to make the son, the clothing on the son, right? And then the second stanza, from mother's perspective, she's worried that he is going to return home late, and therefore her action to show her love and support is to sew his clothes neatly, densely, with a dense running thread. Okay, and then today's stanza is the last part from the son's perspective, and he's not talking directly about himself, his psychology. He's using, well, he is talking about the psychology, but it's not a directly talk. It's using the grass, symbolizing himself. He's just like an inch long, tiny little grass. And his heart, 谁言, who said that inch long grass heart can pay back. 报得 is pay back or repay. 三春晖, 三春晖 here, three spring worth of sunlight. So, okay, sunlight in this part is representing mother's love. So the relationship between mother and son is the mother is like a spring. The sunlight in spring is the nutrition, the environment, the life source, the light, the beam of his life. It's like a spring light. And three of them. Three doesn't mean three, means multitudes. A spring, like I guess in ancient times, the sun would be considered ready to go, to leave home, probably around 8:15. It's a little bit earlier than today's age, right? And at least the 15 years of her sunlight has been nourishing him. And he himself compared to this inch-long tiny grass because it's still young. It doesn't accomplish anything yet. It's nothing to pay back the mother's love. So that's the sense of, it's I'm so I guess gratitude, like so grateful that mother have this many springs worth of sunlight shine on me to grow me, cultivate me, and then now I'm ready to go to leave, presumably taking national exams, right? To get far ahead in life. And before that departure, the son's psychology would be, how can I pay all that spring sunlight back as this inch long tiny little grass? Okay. 谁言, 谁言. Okay, you see, same icon. So then let's just talk about the yan. I translate it as said because it's contextually, it means said. Who said? Like who would have said, right? That this inch long grass heart can pay back. So basically it's a negation, like who it's posed as a question, but it's a rhetorical question. It's basically conclusion is there's no way I can pay it back. And just using this question mark, like who said, right? Then this yan just means speaking and translated as said in this context. So speaking is made of the mouth symbol and this pointing down toward the mouth. And the second pointing downward, a concave shape, is indicator to mean that's the inside of the mouth. And the tongue is the same inside the mouth because we have teeth symbols, all kinds of teeth symbols. It's the tongue that's hard to express in it because it's not fixed in shape, right? So we can only indicate tongue by the location of the tongue, which is inside the mouth. So by making the character the tongue, we already have mouth symbol in there. So together, mouth and tongue, they are the organs to speak. And the result of speaking is two sound bites. You can view that as sound bites, or you can view that as a space. First line is on the top is heaven, second line is the earth. And from a human's earthly or flat earth perspective, earth is bigger than the sky. Okay, but so that's ancient perspective. We have those two lines, and speaking mostly here, it means you let your word out between heaven and earth, because that's true, right? Whenever we open our mouths, it's we're speaking between heaven and earth. Okay, that's speak, and we have speak plus the bird symbol. So this is a small bird, fluffy feathers expressed by these horizontal lines. So I call them anti-gravity feathers. They're not dripping down yet. And then we have this, I guess, this the eye of the bird, the head of the bird, and the feet tucked behind. So you can view it as the bird in action, and it's very aerodynamic body with hair. I mean, so that birds can be airborne, right? And we have bird plus speaking becomes who. So my understanding is when we hear a bird speech, without seeing the bird, we try to guess which bird is singing, is making that sound. So we're trying to match the sound of the bird to the image of the bird. Identify the type of bird by the sound it makes, so to speak. So it's similar of this who, almost like by the speech we heard on ear, we try to guess who said that. Isn't that a essential skill? Throughout history, we need to know who is speaking, what position that person is, right? So the Chinese uses bird speaking to create a concept of who. Who said that inch? Inch is three-finger hand symbol with one indicator down. This automatically, every Chinese know that's 1 inch down the wrist, because that's pulse reading location. So simply by this two component, very simple, it gives you the sense of that's inch. Cao, we have this trident looking thing, two of them means a cluster. The other day, I just took note of that. Like, why Chinese create this cluster of grass? And then I noticed all the grasses, when they are growing, it's never one stem or two. It's a cluster of stems. It's like one root, and then they spread out like horizontally, many of them, a cluster. So Chinese use this, two of them paired next to each other means a cluster of grass. And then we have the sun symbol. Oval shape with horizontal line means energetic ball. Horizontal line means energy over there. And the second horizontal line here in the image, almost similar looking, but except it's open at the bottom. It became a pod having the seed. So the second horizontal line in there symbolizes the seed in its shell popping out. Altogether, it means grass because, okay, this is categorical, plant-based. And then when we have the sun heating up the pod, the seed of the grass is going to popping out. That's the mechanism of how grass reproduce. And it's their seed is going to popping when the sun is heating on it. Okay, so together is 草, inch long. So we just say 寸草 means that small grass. You can imagine the typical long picture, the grass on there. 心, we have a pump. Input tube, output tube, and the third tube feed the heart itself. So 3 tubes connected to this one chamber. It didn't show the heart complex structure. Everything is simplified, and it's just a pump structure. That's Chinese heart. And 寸草心, as you can see, many times Chinese use heart symbol to represent our emotional processing. 寸草心 is your intent, the heart of your as a little grass, um, speaking of how you can pay it back to your mother's son-like love over you. So 报 and 得 are both complicated characters. The 报 is made of the left side. I kind of grab a similar looking thing, and probably this is a stylized of this. Okay, on the left side, this symbol means happiness or luck or fortune. And Chinese express fortune by death defying. Okay, death defying is expressed by early death. So this is like a starfish human figure. Then this head bend down. That means early death, premature death. So I guess if 15 years old is considered a grown up by the ancient standard versus nowadays it's probably 18, right? Ancient times 15. Before 15, if you die, that's considered yao. We call that yao. This is the character for premature death. Okay. The bottom means against premature death, meaning you don't die prematurely. And that in itself is good luck, it's good fortune. And this death defying, okay, is this downward pointing needle thing meet with horizontal line. This horizontal line serves as defense against this attack. So you can view this downward pointing needle thing as attacking. And then this horizontal line is trying to defense. Offense, defense. Okay. And then the second convex shape is earthly container. Okay, because it's on the lower ground. So mostly things on the lower ground is considered earth. And with this convex shape, it means it has emptied out this shape, kind of like a cave, right? So that it can hold things. So it's a big container that it can hold. And I view that as the defense. This horizontal line is the main point here, is whatever life throws at you, this arrow downward pointing down thing throws at you, you are able to have a lot of capacity. This cavity thing on the earth shows the capacity to defend yourself against it. So the whole structure down there means defy, D-E-F-Y. Defy early death in Chinese means super lucky. And then the right side, we have three finger hand symbol again. And then we have this kneeling imagery. The kneeling imagery is made of, well, super simplified and streamlined side view figure of this is the front side of the body and this is the back side of the body. And it didn't draw out and fully draw out the kneeling thing. But basically, ancient times, the people sit on their heels all day long, I guess. And then that shows submission. And you have three finger, almost like reaching out to that submissively sitting on the heel person. And that shows not exactly disciplinary, but that person become in submission under this hand. Okay, so why it's payback? My theory is this left side means super lucky, or you didn't die prematurely. And as a result, you're going to show your submission to whatever the life's hand over you. But of course, the three finger hand, most likely, if it reach out from bottom of string, it means our hand, your hand. So probably by hand, where we symbolize action, we're going to do something. We're going to pay back this good fortune of not dying prematurely by being submissive to, the life granted to us by not being dead by that time. by the time of where we get to 15 years old, finally become a productive member of the society. And that's the moment you can pay it back of not die or prematurely. And the hand probably is like you're going to take action by doing something about it. Okay, 得, we have the three finger hand symbol here again. And this is a 寸, you notice that, right? This inch down the wrist. And then we have the eyeball symbol, verticalized eyeball with the person symbol. So this is a human C, the person symbol, because ancient times humans facing left side. So we have this is the front side and this is the back side. The back side is kind of the person. The back side probably compared to the front, the back is probably curvier versus the front is straighter. So Chinese use this left and right structure to have the backside have more curves. And this eyeball sitting on top of that human body means human see. And here is we do things according to measured action. We're not just do as we wish. Everything is measured following the rules. And the left here means taking footsteps, and taking footsteps of walking is a general term, almost like in English, we have do, we have act, right? But in Chinese, we use walk to symbolize you're doing something. And altogether, it means gain. I interpret it as you see and you take measured action, and that's how you gain. It's all, interpolated. So it's not exactly could be one of the versions to explain why it is gain. But gaining in contemporary society as a capital society, that capital market, following the capital market, right? It's like you have input and then you have output. That's the 得. This 得 as a gain is the result of the input. So, but in Chinese, as an agrarian society, this measured taking on doing something after you see something, right? That gave you the best result of gaining, so to speak. Okay, 3, simply one horizontal lines. Okay, 春, we have plant symbol again, and the third, you see it's the same structure, right? Trident looking thing, except there is a horizontal line sitting on the tip of the two side tips. So that means it's a grass, it's still growing. It's you see this underground portion, this horizontal line is the ground. The other two grass is already growing above the ground. Now the third grass, you can see it is semi, like only showing a tip, the highest tip of the blade, and then the rest of them are still buried. So that means it got a potential to grow. And we have a sun symbol here again, the sphere with energy in it. So when we have the sun, we have the plants still mostly underground. And when the sun, we get a lot more sun, that's the time when things are going to grow aggressively, I guess. And that's the definition of springtime. Hui, we have the sun symbol. Yeah, here, same. And then the right side means army. Army is made of the carriage or cart, wheel. So the middle here is the spoke. We have the supposedly, it should be perfectly circle, right? But because it's made part of the language, it's hard to keep the original proportion, draw a perfect circle in there. So it's kind of oval shape, but it's going through this axle of the wheel. And then the two sides are the stoppers of the wheel, so it doesn't fall off the axle, right? So ancient times, when a fights, the carriage are used mostly by the general's directions. So they can stand on a carriage so that they can see far and give directions. And also carriage probably used as a kind of heavy equipment in a battlefield. And that you're going to use a carriage to create a certain momentum, right? It's bigger than individual human warrior force. And so carriage is associated with war, just like a horse, probably in some cultures, associated with war. Gives you mobility, gives you the power more than human. And then we have this big question mark thing with a chimney on the top. That means wrapping. So when we have a carriage wrap around, that's where your army is going to be stationed. Because according to scholars, ancient times when armies are resting, they're not fighting yet, but you want to protect the army from surprise attack by the enemy. So how it was laid out is by laying out a carriage on the sides of this army and having people, human, I guess more vulnerable parts of the army situated in the middle of it. So when you have a carriage surrounding or wrapping around forms a borderline, that's where you know the army is stationed. When you have an army of sun, that means the sun is at its full force, and that's the sunlight. So we're talking about grass. The sun symbolizes itself as the inch-long, tiny, insignificant grass. And how can he pay back 3 springs worth of sunlight? That's lots of sunlight. And so basically saying it's impossible to pay back a mother's love. And this poem was so influential, and every kid know by heart. Not because like a traveling sun is not, it's still a common theme. I guess it is because even till today, we still have empty nesting transition of every family, right? Eventually, the son or the daughters graduate from their original household into the world. And then the sentiment there is from the traveling son's perspective, how can I ever pay back the love of a mother like that? And that almost like a set the tone of this mother-children relationship. And that's deeply ingrained in our culture. Like every kid learned that. And that's supposed to give you the, I guess, the original model or script of how a mother-son relationship should play out in life. That's the ideal. 谁言寸草心，报得三春晖. Thank you for your time. We're going to start a new poem next day. Okay, see you tomorrow.